will hear from later in the program. We are pleased to have other partners in this fight, Clayton County District Attorney Tasha Mosley and Deputy Fulton County DA Ernell Winfrey with the Human Trafficking and Internet Child Exploitation Unit, and also want to recognize Commander Pedro Ortiz with U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Atlanta. We also would like to recognize some other distinguished guests, such as our elected officials and members of the Atlanta Consular Corps. We have State Representative Deborah Bazemore. We have City Attorney Nina Hickson. We have Gabe Harper with the U.S. Department of Interior, School Board Member Erica Mitchell, and Councilman Antonio Lewis. If we can please have each one of you stand, we'd greatly appreciate it. Today's media event is intended to highlight the ongoing collaboration between the airport and our powerful coalition of state leadership, law enforcement, and community groups to combat human trafficking in our area. Hartsfield-Jackson, the world's busiest and most efficient airport, we remain committed to stopping those who traffic men, women, and especially our children in our midst. This commitment at the airport began in November 2016, when we held our first human trafficking stakeholder forum. Today, we remain steadfast in our work to prevent human trafficking, not just at ATL, but around the globe. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you one of the campaign's most fierce proponents, the General Manager of Hartsfield-Jackson, Ballroom B. Biardari.
Thank you, Jan, and good morning, everyone. Mayor always told me that I need a stool to stand on whenever I'm at the podium, and I could see why. Now I understand. Again, to our elected officials, law enforcement agencies, and all our honored guests, thank you for being here. We take our social responsibility very seriously in stopping the flow of human trafficking through our airport. This evilness is a cancer as it ruins life around the globe. We are unserving in our goal to eradicate human trafficking in cooperation with a host of partners. Through our words, deeds, and action, we have made it perfectly clear that human trafficking through ATL will not be tolerated. It's a crime. Thanks to the concerted effort of our partners, we want you to know anyone who dares to traffic human through our airport, we will spot you, we will arrest you, and we will prosecute you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so deeply honored to serve alongside a mayor who shares this commitment. Please help me in welcoming to the podium our 61st mayor of the great city of Atlanta, the Honorable Andre Dickens.
Thank you, General Manager Biardari, for that introduction and for your strong statements against human trafficking here at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Good morning, everyone. And good morning to all of our elected officials. Thank you for being here, Governor Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp. You've been a true committed fighter against human trafficking and sex trafficking And we just thank you for how you've been sticking to this and really helping us to get to this point. To AG Carr, thank you for your leadership, Representative Bazemore, and to you also, our Clayton County Chairman, Jeff Turner, and to a great leader over at Youth Spark, this great organization that you will hear more about from Jennifer. We have a lot of elected officials here and a lot of important people, everybody from our city attorney to the chief of police, the mayor over this airport, and a city attorney, the COO of the city, the chief of staff of the city, and our council member Lewis. Lots of folks here. I hope I didn't forget anybody. And Fulton County Sheriffs, and of course my Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, Kenyatta Mitchell. And the reason why I name all those folks, because everybody is here because we're all in against this fight, for this fight against human trafficking. APS school board member Erica Mitchell is also here because it's important to her and to APS about human trafficking and how that might affect our young people. Yes, indeed, Atlanta is home to the world's busiest and most efficient airport in the world. This is our home. And while we pride ourselves on that and all of the nearly 100 million passengers that come through here each year, sadly, our success makes us a target for traffickers. All of those people coming here ends up, some of these individuals are in the business of buying and selling human beings. And some of those human beings are put to work in some dangerous conditions and even used for sex trafficking. And sometimes they're preying on the most vulnerable in our community, which are our children. And so often trafficking crimes are initiated in plain sight around these places. It is prevalent because it is lucrative. Atlanta's underground commercial sex industry across this region can account for as much as $300 million a year in North Georgia. But we are here today to bring visibility to this work that we have undertaken with our counterparts to end human trafficking. The City of Atlanta is happy to work alongside our federal, our local, our state, and county partners to shut down those people that are responsible for these vile and insidious crimes. That's because the work to battle human trafficking is a multi-layered effort that requires the collaboration of all of these many partners and then some. Law enforcement, airport employees, and our other partners, including a lot of our corporate citizens. This includes two of our most well-known established aviation partners. Nikki Clifton is the president of social impact of the UPS Foundation. Nikki coordinated the company's anti-trafficking awareness and advocacy initiatives. And Meg Taylor, I saw Meg earlier. Oh, there you are. Meg Taylor has also made the battle against trafficking her fight as well. Meg is the Deputy General Counsel and Chief Litigation Officer for Delta Airlines. She's a member of the airline's anti-human trafficking steering committee and has worked tirelessly in this area for more than a decade. And we appreciate the work that these two great Atlanta-based headquartered companies and the work that you're doing. So earlier this week, just last week, in his State of the State address, Governor Kemp called human trafficking an evil industry run by criminals. And they should never find refuge here in Georgia. And I could not agree more. He and First Lady Kemp have really been on the front lines fighting against human trafficking, and I'm just thankful for your leadership in that. And now I will turn it over to the governor now to talk about the state's efforts on human trafficking. Thank you, Governor.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership on this issue. Ballram and I have a disadvantage here on this microphone. There we go. But I just want to thank you for your leadership as well. It's an honor for Marty and I to be here. And after what Ballram said, I don't know that anybody could say it any better or with any more, really sense of purpose. And I greatly appreciate that. So I'll just do what my job is today, and that's to introduce the greatest First Lady in the country that's done more, in my opinion, than anybody at the state level across the country to raise awareness on ending human trafficking, to go after the perpetrators, but also to support the innocent victims of this crime, and she's just been incredible in that effort. But I do want to just thank the mayor and Ballram and the team here at the airport. A lot of the other partners that the mayor mentioned, Representative Bazemore, Attorney General Chris Clark has been there, Chris Carr, has been there with us since day one on going after traffickers, supporting victims, and continuing to move the needle on the state's response and being part of our team. And his team we highlighted during the State of the State. And I just want to thank Attorney General Carr for his leadership. I so much appreciate Chief Sherbaum, Sheriff Labatt, the major here at the airport, all of our law enforcement officials that have been in this fight, but also just for what you do every single day out there on the road. I want to obviously thank Chairman Turner, Nikki Clifton with UPS, and Meg Taylor and our friends at Delta, and Jennifer, just want to thank you for your leadership at USPART and all that you're doing. Also just wanted to mention Tyler Perry and his team. They've been very involved in this effort. Marty has been in communications with him for literally years now on this issue, and I know he's not with us today, but he remains in the fight. And quite honestly, as I mentioned, Marty has made bringing awareness to this industry really her signature issue throughout our first term, and we continue to do that. And that's sometimes what you need. There's been people that have been in the trenches for decades in this fight. And we are simply riding on your backs and your shoulders and continuing the good work and using the bullet pulpit of the governor's office and the First Lady's voice. And we just so appreciate people like the mayor and Chairman Turner and others doing the same. But I cannot thank her leadership, but also the Grace Commission, the great team that she has that has worked on this issue for years now, and certainly the legislation that they continue to pass and have over several years in a bipartisan way. It's been some of the greatest bipartisan legislative work that I've seen in my career in state government. And we know because of that good work, lives have been saved, children have been removed from dangerous situations, and offenders have been put behind bars where they can no longer make victims of the innocent. And I just appreciate the willingness of everyone here today in this public service announcement to continue to remind our partners that you see here today from various parties and across all levels of government that we are still in this fight. And we are forcefully in this fight like Ballram so forcefully communicated to those out there that would participate in this evil industry. I would suggest they not do that here at the Atlanta airport. They not do that in the city of Atlanta, and they not do that in our state. Because especially as I said in the State of the State in regards to our children, you come after our children, we will be coming after you. And we will be coming after human traffickers. So just know that we are still in the fight. The First Lady is continuing to fight. She's been a great wife for 29 years. I already told you all she's the greatest First Lady in the country. But she's also a mother to 3 daughters, so this issue hits home with us. She's a small business owner like myself. She's a proud graduate of the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. And much more. She has a lot of issues that really, I think, matter to everyday Georgians besides, in addition to human trafficking, like pet adoption, supporting our farmers and our agribusiness through the Georgia Grown program and Georgia Agriculture, promoting literacy, but also a new focus as we go into our second term on mental health, which I know is an issue that we're all dealing with in all parts of the community. The mayor and I had a conversation about that earlier today, but also supporting foster care and adoption reform. So it's an honor for me to introduce to you a great champion on ending human trafficking and supporting the victims, First Lady Marty Kemp.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Brian, for that kind introduction and those nice words. You'd think he was in the doghouse. but he's certainly out now if he was. 1 year ago, we gathered here to commit ourselves to doing our part to end human trafficking in Atlanta and our state. It is partnerships like this that move the needle towards moving Georgia to a safe haven for survivors and a hostile environment for traffickers and buyers. Throughout this program, you'll hear about the particular dangers of trafficking here in the world's most utilized airport, with thousands of people from all across the world walking through this complex each and every day. To tackle a challenge this large and one that affects everyone both inside and outside these walls, we must remain steadfast and committed to working alongside each other. And if I remember correctly, the mayor so proudly said last year that he considered us friends. So I knew then that we were going to have a great partnership working together, and I appreciate that. Traffickers are constantly adapting and depending on their ability to hide in plain sight in crowds like the ones that fill these terminals each day. That is why it is so important that we work to educate the public on the signs of trafficking and what they can do to stop them. This year, we're adding a piece of legislation that will increase penalties for those required to post information and resources on human trafficking but fail to do so. Victims are dependent on everyone to do their part, and we must hold each other accountable to ensure we are meeting those demands. 1 year later, as we gather once more, we are reminded that we are stronger together. As a city, as a state, and as people who cannot stand by and let others face the cruelty of being forced into sexual servitude against their will, we move forward united by our desire to see this evil industry eradicated. We have a new tool in that fight that you will see soon. When we left this event last year, several of us decided to create a PSA highlighting what individuals should know about trafficking and who to contact if they spot it. I want to thank Mayor Dickens, Tyler Perry, and Representative Deborah Bazemore for seeing this project through to completion and for their own work to end human trafficking. It's fitting that we're unveiling this PSA today, the last day of Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, because it reminds us that we need to be aware of this issue and fighting it year-round. Traffickers do not take time off, and they do not let their guard down. So neither will we in our efforts to bring them to justice. I often highlight that one of the biggest ways that we can make a difference is by raising awareness of trafficking. By encouraging eyes and ears across our state, we can ensure no corner of Georgia is open to those profiting from this evil industry. This PSA is an important step towards achieving that goal, and I know with partners such as those here today and all across Georgia, we will keep working to end human trafficking. Thank you so much for working together. God bless you, and God bless this great state of Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, General Manager Barbara Biodari, Mayor Dickens, Governor Kemp, and First Lady. We greatly appreciate your support and your commitment. Now I would like to invite to the podium the president of the UPS Foundation, Ms. Nikki Clifton. As Mayor Dickens just highlighted, under her leadership, the UPS Foundation has been a critical advocate of human trafficking prevention. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nikki Clifton, the president of Social Impact in the UPS Foundation. I'm honored to be here today with the mayor, with Governor Kemp, the Attorney General, and all of the elected officials and people who care about this issue in the fight against human trafficking. UPS and the UPS Foundation have identified community safety as one of our 4 investment areas important to the Atlanta community and aligned with our business priorities. I've led UPS's journey to take on the fight against human trafficking for 6 years, and it's encouraging to see all of the buy-in from our leaders at UPS, as well as from our drivers who care deeply about the communities that they serve every day. UPS has called Atlanta home for more than 29 years. UPS drivers are parents, grandparents, and everyday heroes. They want safe communities in which to work and live, and human trafficking poses a threat to the safety and well-being of our communities. So training our drivers to spot the signs and to make the call when they see signs of trouble is the right thing to do, and it's a sound business practice. At UPS, we show up in a number of ways to put the brakes on human trafficking. Our company offers one of the largest human trafficking awareness initiatives in the transportation industry in partnership with Truckers Against Trafficking. We've trained more than 130,000 drivers and 3,000 UPS airline pilots to recognize the signs of human trafficking